Hi, I'm Sonia Choquette. I am an intuitive channel and guide and the leader of the Intuition Revolution, and I have been for the last 50 years. Yep, long before it became important, way back when everybody called me a weirdo and a woo-woo and dismissed me left and right, I have been teaching people what we're all coming to learn so quickly in this new earth is that we not only have intuitive senses, we need them. And the ones who master them are going to be the leaders of the new earth, which we have already entered. So today, I want to talk about something super important, which is I want to be intuitive, but fear gets in the way. That is probably the number one block. But before I dive in, I want to thank anybody who's new here and say, welcome to my channel. I think your intuition guided you here. So hooray, I hope you find something useful. And for those who are coming back and keep coming back, thank you so much for being part of my community. Now let's get to the subject of fear. The first thing is, fear is something that we are intuitively rained upon within the energetic field. So let me just define our intuition as something other than woo-woo and feeling. It is an innate inner sense we all possess. Not a gift, but a skill that we refine that allows us to feel energy in the field, feel vibration, which is the nature of the energy, and frequency. Is it an energy that lifts us up? Is it a vibration that's positive and aligned with who we are? It is an energy that's negative and threatening. Is it an energy that drains us? Is it an energy of opportunity? This is what our inner senses tune into, but not only on the third dimension reality, but also in the fourth dimension. So let me quickly explain what the fourth dimension is. That is the field that a lot of people get a little confused with when it comes to intuition, because that is our capacity to tune into other people's thoughts, telepathy, to tune into the feeling and emotional zone, both our own and others. That's the fourth dimension. To tune into the nervous energy and the disowned energy and all that's a bit confusing. That's the fourth dimension. Then we go all the way to the fifth dimension, which is the ability to tune in to our spirit, our creator, and our divine support system, which is both angelic beings, spirit guides, nature spirits, joy guides, light beings. I mean, it is a populated world in the divine support system, just as it is on the third dimension. But if we're fearful, we're not going to tune into any of that because we're going to be afraid of negative consequences. And we have been gaslit and conditioned to be afraid of trusting our intuition. We have been inundated on this planet for hundreds, if not thousands of years of people wanting to take away your power by saying, don't you dare trust yourself. Who do you think you are? How would you even give yourself that kind of authority? And so many messages over and over again of don't trust yourself. You're not qualified. You need an authority. You need science. You need a rational reason. All of these messages are really just the means to keep you dependent on others, giving your power away, doubting yourselves, giving away your creative sovereignty. And part of this new earth that we're in right now is that we are somehow innately and collectively realizing this. Our intuition is overriding all this negativity and it's getting too hard to dismiss. Now we have quantum science and neurologists and the fields of neurology saying our nervous system does pick up on energy. Quantum physics says our consciousness transcends the physical body. So anybody who doesn't believe in intuition right now is really stuck in the dark ages. They are really stuck in the last century because we are marching into a whole new consciousness. And we need to know that fear has just been a great deal of your fear has just been conditioning. And here's the liberation. You want to be able to start separating feeling fear from being in danger. They're very different. There is a fear that comes from being in danger. That's a whole different vibe. When you're in danger, when you are feeling threatened, you are picking up some sort of menacing or incongruent frequency in the field, some energy that is ungrounded, that's coming your way and could collide with you, some energy of menacing thought and intention. And when that happens, you have a specific type of fear. You get the hair on the back of your neck fear. You get the sense of I'm being followed or watched or targeted fear. And it is intense, and it has a strong, very strong physical reaction. For example, I had a client who had back surgery, and he was recovering and part of the recovery was to walk. But of course, he was vulnerable and walked very slow. And one night, he was walking home from a friend's house who lived very close to him. He heard and could sense someone was following him. And as he was walking, he knew that somebody was tracking him. The hair on the back of his neck stood up. His ears got hyper alert. He could feel the targeting focus on him on his back. He was very smart, and he had been trained by me as well. So what happened was this: instead of getting scared and letting fear overwhelm him, he started to breathe, which is the first thing to kind of dismantle fear. Breathing in through the nose, so learn this. Holding and then exhaling out through the mouth with a longer exhale. And saying, I am okay, I'm safe. Then he slowed down instead of hurried up, because that was taking charge of his field, and he surrounded himself with an intentional field, which is a real energy of white light and protection. Sure enough, he heard the guy start running toward him, and he turned around and came to him face to face, and he yelled right in his face, stop. You're going to get in trouble. Go away. And it caught the guy so by surprise that he did stop, and he did run away. So not that I advise that, but I am saying that if you feel something negative that's really menacing like that, it's very different than vague anxieties and nervousness, which we'll talk about. This is real threat. Breathe. Take your power. Surround yourself mentally with the light above and below, front and back, and to both sides of your heart, 3 feet around you, and intend that is a protective, energetic force field. And it's a real thing. This isn't just, wishful thinking. I actually trained many, many years ago and worked with a detective Bittenbinder, who had a show in Chicago way back in the day called Tough Target. And he was a detective who had me on his show because of the very skills I'm teaching you, because he said you can sense if there is a danger. So that's the first part of this. And the second part is it's very different than the fear of making a mistake. Now, fear of making a mistake often has to do with giving your power still over to authority figures. You think, I'm going to displease somebody, I'm going to make somebody angry, I'm going to be blamed for something. So you really have to think this one through. And you have to ask yourself, am I responsible for me, or am I making someone else responsible for me? And this is just about getting current and becoming adult. Just, recognizing that I am a safe and grounded, intelligent adult, and I am making these decisions or voicing this awareness because my energy and my perceptions of the energy in my field are telling me something's up. Now, it's interesting. This is especially unnerving at work, but everybody who is a boss at work versus a worker bee, and even a leader versus a manager, these are the people who actually do listen to their inner guidance, listen and trust their vibes, and say so. So at minimum, you can start saying, this is my intuition. I just need to put it out there. It's strong and I want to share it. And so you don't even have to insist on following it, but speak it out. That is a big way to start overcoming fear. And then notice, once you acknowledge intuition like that it's a warning that something's off, don't feel afraid. You're afraid of the consequences, but the intuition is accurate. Speak it up, share it with someone, write it down, because within a matter of days, you'll have evidence that what you were perceiving was relevant and accurate, important information. The key is don't keep it in your head and don't keep silent. If that's too much and you're still afraid, then at least record it or write it down and put a date on it, because you're going to have evidence that this kind of inner guidance that's spontaneously happening more and more often is real. The other thing is you have to decide, am I willing to be responsible for myself? Our biggest fear is that someone that we unconsciously make responsible for us, a partner, a boss, some authority figure, is going to be displeased if we have that sovereign exercise. We exercise our power. And sometimes yes, but most of the time, no. Most of the time, nobody's really trying to control you. You're just projecting that control. Sometimes yes. But in any case, you taking full responsibility for yourself is going to be a really big breakthrough. Now, I do realize that this is a process, so I have 4 steps to take for you to work on this week that will really make a change. Step 1, be open to your intuitive guidance being completely natural, important information. 2, be grounded, take a breath and ask, is this me or is this coming around me? Am I just insecure? Do I feel like I need approval? Do I want someone to take care of me? Then just acknowledge it and write that down. 3, so one, you're open. 2, you check your state. 3, expect your guidance to work for you because it's natural and it's turning on spontaneously like popcorn for everyone all around us. So expect it instead of act so surprised and, oh my God, and this is weird and I can't explain. That is very last century response. You say, okay, I'm going to acknowledge this. I'm going to externalize. I'm going to write it down, speak it out, tell someone, but I'm not going to let it keep rolling around in my head. And then 4, by acknowledging, then decide whenever you can to act on it, because that's when your life changes. But if you're too afraid to act on it, that writing it down and acknowledging it after 2 weeks, it's not going to be so threatening because you're going to have evidence and you'll wish you had. Now, another big tool about getting over fear is acknowledge it. I'm afraid I'll make a mess. I'm afraid I'll make a mistake. I'm afraid I'll have catastrophic consequences. I'm afraid no one will love me. I'm afraid it'll be completely wrong, which I'll get to in a minute about right, wrong. I'm afraid, period. But then keep saying, I'm afraid out loud until you can't think of anything else to say, and then put your hand right on your heart and ask your inner guidance. What does my intuition, my heart, and my spirit sense right now? Now notice I use the word sense instead of feel, because feel gets confused with emotion. We're not looking for emotions. We're looking for energy that we sense right now. So let's say that, and then just say it really fast. Next, check your body. If it's true intuitive connection with what's going on around you, your body will relax. Even if you're not willing to act on it yet, just acknowledging it, naming it out loud, naming your fears, and then letting your intuition speak within a week, you're going to reconsider ignoring it because it's so helpful. It makes no sense to ignore it. So you get used to it, but let's start by assessing this is natural, this is normal. I was robbed of this inner power and I'm taking it back. And these are the steps in how I'm going to take it back. I'm going to treat it as normal. I'm going to take a deep breath and relax and get clear about what exactly am I afraid of. And then I'm going to check in with my spirit, my heart, my gut. These are the energy centers. I'm going to name what I feel intuitively. And then the 4th is you have a choice to follow it or not. But each choice will have a consequence. So even by naming it, you claim it. And then after 2 weeks, you're going to probably be pretty willing to follow it because you'll get evidence that fast. So that's my message for this week. It's really important as part of this intuition revolution on the planet, not to get stuck in the dark ages, left behind and left disempowered. This is your highest soul power. This is the power that is also connected to your power to create, to work with guides, to manifest, to fall in love, to align with the best paths for you emotionally, materialistically, health-wise. So to tune out your intuition and your inner senses and keep them unactivated is folly. It's crazy. It's not a good choice. So these are the things to do. They're simple, and I want you to put in the comments your experience of doing these things. Even right here, I'm afraid of this, 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 and this, and then my intuition says. That's enough. Even to note it, put it in the comments right here is a game changer. And ask yourself, am I in fear or am I in danger? Is this anxiety or is this a real threat? You can tell the difference. Absolutely. Interestingly, real threats don't feel like you're in fear. They feel like step up and get ready to take care of yourself. Very few real threats leave you fearful. They actually empower you, like the story I shared. So it's important to start paying attention to the difference. Fear takes away your power. That's what the world has wanted to do for you for a long time, is just rob you. So you have to overcome that fear enough to at least acknowledge your intuition. And once you start doing that, it'll come faster and faster and furious. You'll start getting all kinds of connections, insights, understanding, even visitations from angels and guides, because it's all part of the system. And when that happens, your fear subsides, it disappears, and you start becoming super clear. That's the goal. And if you are somebody who is super clear and you know people need to learn this and you can really make a difference more, not only by example, but maybe you want to make this your path, then I invite you to, in the notes, get on my certification training waiting list. I'll be teaching much later in the year, but so I'm teaching a gift intuition certification coaching practice where you coach to frequency and energy and vibration and spirit and not to story. You don't coach to history. You don't coach to ego. You don't coach to story, because that's endless. When you coach to frequency and bring people back into alignment, they become healed and empowered instantly. And these are the kinds of leaders the world needs. So if that's something that calls to you, get on my waiting list. You can do that in the notes below. And please put in the comments what you're afraid of and then follow it up. But nevertheless, my intuition says that is enough to change the whole outcome. If you're new to my channel and you enjoyed this, please give me a like, and better yet, please join. And if you're coming back, thank you for welcome you back. Thank you for being part of this empowering community, for by example, empowering others and helping this become the new world that will become far more grounded, safe, and loving for all. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. All my love.